Hi, my name is Gina, and in August of 2009, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, stage 3B. I was shocked because I've always thought that people that get cancer are smokers. And even though cancer is in my family, I just never considered myself, I didn't even think or give it a second thought that this would happen. Well, it did. Um, and I did my treatment up at Robert Wood, the Cancer Institute. While I was in treatment, going to the hospital itself, um, I would see people that I knew. And even though I was still heavy, you couldn't tell looking at my weight that I was fighting for my life. But I was. And when I would tell people, they would ask me, "Oh, hey, how you doing? Why you here?" And I would tell them, I had breast cancer. They would look at me like, "What? Not you, you don't smoke." And I realized that that's what people associate cancer with, smoking. Not true. And so this is why I decided to tell my story. Um, in January of 2009, I was complaining of lumps under my arm. My primary doctor, I won't say his name, but my primary doctor told me that it was cysts and to put warm compresses under it and it'll bust and go away. I would do this. And the thing with that is it didn't bust. It would go down. It was painful just a little bit. Um, and so when it would go away, I would forget about it. I noticed I guess it was April, that in the middle of my chest right here, I had a little knot. And I went to him and I said, "You know what? I got a knot in the middle of my breast." And he went to, I went to show him and he didn't want to see it. So I took off my shirt. And when I took off my shirt, he ignored, he turned his head. So he said, "It's a cyst. Don't worry about it." And when he said that, he also said, "Because it's not cancer, cancer is not painful." I paid that no mind. And everybody that know me know that I am a hypochondriac. I paid it no mind because even though cancer is in my family, I never thought that I had cancer. That when he said it, it just went through one ear out the other. Paid it no mind. Well, um, for 4 more months, I drove around. I couldn't lay on my stomach because my chest would hurt. Um, I couldn't, when I would put on the seatbelt, I would put it around me because it would come across my chest and it would hurt. Uh, but other than that, I was able to ignore it because I said, okay, it's a cyst. He said it's a cyst. That's what it is. I've never had a cyst other than what he was saying that was under my arm. Um, I had my mom in the car in the beginning of August, and the lump had got it had got big, even bigger, where you could see it in sticking out my chest. And I told my mom, I said, "Mom," I said, this knot is hurting. I said, and the doctor said it's a cyst. I said, "But you know what? Let me call him and tell him I want an X-ray." Not thinking, never did cancer enter into my mind. I still wasn't thinking cancer. And so I called the doctor. Well, I'm driving in the car and I called the doctor on my cell phone and I said, this lump in my breast is hurting. And he said, "Well, get down to Quaker Bridge Radiology for a mammogram." I'm like, "What? What you mean a mammogram?" Now I'm scared. I'm like, "What do you think this might be?" And so he said, "Well, I don't know." He said, "But you're saying you got a knot in your chest. I want you to go get a mammogram done." So I'm like, "Well, why now? I said this months ago." He forgot. Paid it no mind. He forgot that I mentioned about this lump. Well, anyway, I went down to Quaker Bridge the next day. to get a mammogram done, and I had took a friend of mine. When I went in, the lump was on in the middle of my chest, but more towards the left side. And I had went in to get only a mammogram. When I went in, they did the right side, and then they did the left side, and the girl that was doing the left side of my breast, I noticed she stayed on this side and was taking so many pictures, and I'm like, well, why you only took 3 on this side, but she was just taking so many. I started getting a little nervous, but cancer still did not enter my mind because it's a cyst. They said it was a cyst. So it didn't enter into my mind. So when she took the pictures, she said, you know what? She said, sit right here. She said, don't get dressed. Just sit right here. I want to show this here to the doctor, the one that read the film. And she said, I'll be back. So anyway, she came back. When she came back, she said, he wants you to have an ultrasound done. He's calling your doctor to get a referral for that. I go and I get the ultrasound, and she taking pictures, and you can see the monitor. I don't know what I'm looking at, but I see she measuring things. Anyway, she take the pictures and she said, wait right here. I'll be back. Well, she leave and she come back, and she's with the doctor. And he said, hi, Regina. He told me who he was, and he said, I want to take some pictures. I want to take a look at this. So I'm like, well, I started shaking. I'm like, look at what? And so anyway, he was taking the pictures. But while he was taking the pictures, he was measuring and he was counting. And he was like 1, 2, 3, and then he went under my arm and he counted 5 things under my arm. And I knew something was wrong. And so that's when he told me. He said, I want you you need a biopsy. He said, it's suspicion of cancer. And my life ain't been right since then. I asked him, what do you mean cancer? And he told me, he said, he can't confirm it. Only a biopsy can. He said, but you need a biopsy. And he said, go to your doctor. I'm going to send him my findings, what I think. And then he'll take it from there. Go to your primary. Well, I left there crying. And I went to a breast surgeon. I remember this breast surgeon, and I went to him with my film, and he was so nice. He looked at the film, and he looked at me, and I said, is it cancer? And he said, I can't say if it is or if it ain't. He said, I don't want to tell you it's not and it is, and I don't want to say it is and it's not. He said, you got to wait for the biopsy. Well, I get the biopsy done 2 days later, and it took 3 days for the results to come back. And I went there with my daughter. I had to pick her up from school, and I went there to his office for the results. And when we went in the back, they took me in a room, and I sat on the table, and he came in, and he had my folder, and he opened it, and he was just standing there looking. And he turned around and he looked at me, and Nana was standing to my right, and he said, oh, you got pretty eyes. Did anybody ever tell you that? To Nana. And I just said, Nana, leave out. And so he said, why? Because I said she got pretty eyes. And I said, no. I said, I don't want her to hear what you're going to tell me. And he told me, he said, you had breast cancer. We don't know how bad, but you had breast cancer. And I remember just screaming, no, it's a cyst. It can't be breast cancer. I don't smoke. And so he said, it is. And he said, well, I'm going to have to send you to the Cancer Institute in Hamilton. And I'm like, I don't want to go anywhere that's got anything to do with cancer. And so he said, you have to go. So he said, well, I'm going to call your daughter in here, and I'm going to let her know. And I said, no, I don't want her to know. I said, she can't handle that right now. And so he said, no. You cannot hide this. This is something you can't hide from your family because they're going to know. You need chemo. It still didn't hit me because I don't remember seeing anybody that went through chemo. Even though cancer is in my family, these are my great aunts that I barely remember. And so he said, if your daughter got any questions, she can ask me. And so He hugged me, and I just kept saying, I don't want to die. I don't want to die from this. And so he said, well, we don't know how bad, we don't know what stage you're in. So I went in the hallway, and he went to take me into his office, and the nurse went to get Nana, and she saw me, and she said, Mom, what's the matter? And so the doctor was like, well, your mom has cancer. And Nana asked him questions. He answered it. She started crying. So I had to straighten myself up. At the same time, I'm calling my husband, and I'm telling him, and it's, he even in disbelief, because the first thing he said was, how did a cyst turn to cancer? And I said, it was never a cyst in the first place. Had this man sent me months ago to get the mammogram, who knows? Anyway, I needed a mastectomy. And he told me that. I had never heard this word. And I'm like, a what? And he said, your breast has to come off. And I'm like, my breast? And he said, yeah. He said, we have to remove the breast because that's where the cancer is. Whew. Anyway, I had the mastectomy done the next week. There was no time to think about it. I did ask him if I could go to the University of Pennsylvania, to a big hospital. And he told me, he said, you can't. He said, but they're going to tell you the same thing. Your breast, to live, that breast got to go. And now this is me. I did the 4 months of chemo. They treated me as if I was stage 4. And then I did radiation, which was very painful. I'm going to end it at that. I'll talk about it some more. I'm going to be posting every week, because now I'm still fighting for my life, because I have to lose the weight. Obesity is associated with cancer. So my purpose in doing this is that anybody that has lumps anywhere, and your doctor says a cyst, ask for a CAT scan. Tell them you want it biopsy. If it doesn't bust, you want it done, because something as simple as a mammogram, I wouldn't be in the stage that I'm in now. It's fearful. I don't like the way I look no more. My husband don't have a problem with it, but I do, because this is part of me as a woman, and you remove the breast. Anyway, I want to show you. If you go, well, while you're on, you can see the pictures of me being burned. This is a prosthesis, a breast. And this is what I have to wear. And I decided I don't want to wear this anymore. It goes here, so that I could be normal, I guess, if you will. It weighs like maybe 2 pounds. And it goes in like this. And I decided that I wanted to have the surgery, the reconstructive surgery. I spoke to my oncologist and radiologist, and they said, what are you going to do? Wait for the cancer to come back? Get it done now. Everything that you want to do, you do it now, because this is what's going to kill me later on. I'm living with cancer, and it's under control now. So I'm signing off now. I'll be back on next week, Monday, to talk some more about my journey with cancer and losing weight. If you see me out there and I'm videotaping, support me. Honk your horn. Just give me support. I did this cancer thing, and I left a lot of people out of my life while I went through it, because I was afraid. I couldn't answer questions. And I didn't want to be really bothered with anybody. But now, that part, the chemo, the radiation, is done. I'm going for this here so that I can have reconstructive surgery, and I can look complete again and feel good about myself. So thank you. God bless you. And I'll see you next week.
And I support breast cancer. Remember that. I support breast cancer. Check out the Facebook pages, the Twitter, Follow her at G Doe. So, yeah. Stay tuned till next time.